you taking the time out of your busy schedules and watching college basketball to join us today. Happy March Madness to those who celebrate. That being said, once you pop in, can you put your name, your organization, and where you're coming from today in the chat? We really appreciate it. As I said, welcome today. My name is Eric Wengel. I'm part of the learning community managers here at the Urban Institute. Responsible for managing the learning community as a whole. On behalf of our entire team and our team at the Urban Institute and our partners at the CDC, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Before we go further, I'm going to just do a very quick introduction before I hand off to our fantastic speaker today. First off, we offer live interpretation from English to Spanish during our events. If you would like to listen to the Spanish language channel, simply click on the globe icon at the bottom of the screen, bottom of the Zoom taskbar, and click Spanish, and that should take you over there. You've all been muted upon entry to this session. However, if you have a question for our speaker during the presentation, you can either raise your hand, come off mute, or pop it in the chat, and we can go ahead and get that answered. As with all of our learning events, we will post a recording of this event for those of you who have attended. And I do want to clarify this particular session, we have a number of breakout rooms to get some good discussion. And then in order to make sure everyone's as comfortable as possible, the breakout rooms will not be recorded, just so we can be as candid and as comfortable in our conversations as possible. And then with that, I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Dr. Rob Mosley from here at the Urban Institute. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rob.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Eric. As Eric said, I'm Dr. Rashid Mosley. Everyone calls me Ra. And I have the pleasure of presenting Partnering for Vaccine Equity. And my focus today will be on project management leadership, in particular looking at best practices. And this is, I believe, series 2 in a group of 3 series workshops that you all will participate in. Next slide. Just a quick overview of today's presentation. We will talk about performance outcomes, issues for discussion around the session, project management leadership best practices, talk about some of the learning goals, talk about the difference between project leadership and project management, issues for discussion during this particular session. I'm going to bring that back up, leadership styles and group activity. We will talk about critical elements for success, and then there's a group activity. Inspiring a team in tough times and a group activity. And so you should see a pattern right now. It's not just me presenting. Each one will have a group activity. So this is not going to be a lecture. It's interactive. Managing a diverse team, project management communication strategies, and then stand on track. And once again, all of those will have a separate group activity to engage everyone. All right, thank you. Next slide. So the outcomes for this particular session, at the end of this session, you will be able to identify best practices for leading. Let's see, do we have different ones? You can go to that. Yes, for leading diverse teams, be able to manage the elements that are discussed in session 1, discuss techniques for adapting to change, and understanding how to implement project management tools. Some of the topics that we will discuss today include elements of a successful leadership and how does it look, inspiring teams in tough times, managing a diverse team inclusively, stand on track and what to do if you get off track, and managing a budget. Just a quick review of some of the topics that were discussed in session 1. Understand key elements of projects and project planning, various tools, activities, timelines, milestones, budgets, roles, and responsibilities. And I believe you also focused on a work plan and sort of where to find further resources. The learning goals for this session, once again, is to provide concrete methods and approaches to managing and leading a project with a diverse staff and restricted budget. impart best practices for managing equitably in times of change. So now let's think about the difference between leadership and management. Are they synonymous? And so typically when we think about leadership or particular management, management involves dealing with complexity. It includes elements such as setting goals, budgets, establishing detailed steps, allocating resources, solving problems, and monitoring the results. That's more of how to manage particular projects. However, when we think about leadership, leadership involves dealing with change and includes such elements as setting and communicating direction, developing vision, and aligning team members, stakeholders, and others. So what is project management and what is project management and why is it important, project management leadership? So when we think about project management, so once again, project management, the process of team leaders applying methods, techniques, knowledge, skills, and experience to meet goals within the project's parameters. It involves managing the project's resources, including its budget, schedule, and personnel to fulfill certain objectives. And it's also effective project managers. They optimize the use of project's resources to achieve all of the objectives, including meetings, deadlines, staying within a budget, and satisfying quality standards. And that's more project management. Now, when we think about project management leadership, effective leaders, they typically are known for motivating their team. They are focused on optimal project management, and it really contributes to a culture that promotes performance and success. A project manager motivates the team by making effective project management decisions. And some of those decisions include how to structure the team roles that will help capitalize on the skills of the individual member, and also defining clear, attainable goals throughout the course of the project. Project managers can develop effective leadership skills by doing the following: building relationships with team members, practicing proper communication, maintaining flexibility, and displaying dependability. So there are a few styles that I want to highlight when we think about project management, the leadership styles. And the focus is to ensure effective project leadership. It is important that the team and the particular leader think about these particular leadership styles and you adapt your leadership to meet the needs of your project team. And so when I talk about these, there may be cases in our workday where we have to enact different parts of these styles. There may be some areas that we're stronger in, and we'll get into that in one of the activities. But for now, I just want to sort of lay out the 6 that we want to discuss. Next slide. So the first is visionary. So when we think about visionary leadership style, this style really is on the leader thinking about the vision and the team project, projecting what does this look like in the future? What is considered success? Why are we here? Affiliative, this leadership style helps members of a team to build positive relationships with one another. And participative or democratic, this leadership style invites team members to provide input and feedback on particular decisions. The next particular style, when we think about project management, is around coaching. And this is really identifying the strengths and weaknesses of individuals with the intent of promoting long-term professional growth and development. There's also the pace setter. The pace setter is known for promoting high standards of performance with an emphasis on achieving and efficiency. And then the last we'll discuss is directive or autocratic. And with this, some of the project managers may also use this as a particular leadership style where they are the boss, they're telling people what to do. There are cases where this may be needed, is not probably the most recommended leadership style, but there are times that a leader have to be directive and make a decision. Next. So in thinking about that, we're going to jump into our first group activity. So we think about these particular leadership styles. Once again, there may be times in our work day, there may be times throughout a project, there may even be times when we're working with different individuals that we may have to lean upon one or more of these different leadership styles. And so it's not saying that, oh, I'm all of them, or I'm just one, but what we want to think about is what is your dominant leadership style and where can you grow? And so Eric is going to help place us into work groups
Mhm.
that still can be, and we're going to take about 5 to 6 minutes. And I want you to think about what is your dominant leadership style, and also where's one that you may be able to grow. And so we're going to spend a few minutes there and come back and just share out with the group.
I have
All right, we're ready.
created
Thank
the
you.
breakout rooms. If you would like to, if you are here in Spanish, by the way, please just stay in the main room. And then along with your interpreters, I believe there will be there should be some Spanish speakers if you would like to stay in the main room. If not, please go ahead and join your breakout rooms.
So I'm going to go to my room, but I did see a question come in the chat just now about the leadership styles. Is there a way to get those to bring to the room? I see the question, but just so that we can remind the group of what they are. I think once we go to the group, we won't see the screen anymore, though. Is that right? So maybe we need to jot them down.
Luis, can you go back a slide or two, please?
Yes, but wait, so should I stay in this room then? 'Cause I'm assigned to room 1, but I also see Kristen's here. So I was gonna go to room 2.
Yeah. I am going to. Yeah,
Okay.
you go to room 2, I'll go to room 4.
Okay, so I'm just gonna get these down quickly. Let's see.
Okay, so I think a point of the breakout is just to discuss um, what your leadership style is.
Looks like we're having some lively conversations. I see some groups still going on, which is good. Okay, have about 5 seconds. All right, everyone, welcome back. In effort of time, we'll jump right into this. Hopefully that was a lively and thoughtful discussion. Do we have anyone who want to volunteer to talk about their leadership style that they consider more dominant? And then if we can also have a brave volunteer to share, and this is a safe space, to share an area of personal growth around professional leadership that you think you may be in a good opportunity for you to focus on. If you can just either raise a hand or can just come off mute. Thank you, Carol.
My style is mostly visionary, but there are pieces to it that fall under both affiliative and participatory in order to get that vision. Where I probably could strengthen myself. My team tends to be very self-motivated and introspective. So I don't do a lot of coaching around where they want to see themselves in the future. But I think that's one area I could develop.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, Carol. For sharing both. Anyone else who would like to share? Okay, no worries. We have 5 more activities. I'm gonna get everyone to speak on here. So you can volunteer for this one. We'll get you on the next 4 or 5. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Next slide, please. Okay, let me catch up. Okay, what are the elements of successful leadership? Next slide. So now I just want to jump into key elements for success, in particular when we're talking about project management. So the principles of project management involves understanding the scope and objectives of a project, setting effective timelines, managing resources, and handling risk. In order to ensure the success of any project, it is essential that these principles are followed and applied at each stage. And so 3 areas we want to talk about. One is always having a clear scope and understanding of the project objectives. That's sort of the North Star. Where are we going? Next is effectively managing resources in order to ensure the project is completed on time and within budget. And when we're talking about resources, not just the financial resources, also talking about the human resources. And the third part is identifying potential risk associated with a project and proactively developing strategies for mitigating those risks in order to reduce the impact on its completion or success. So this is making sure that you're thinking about the what ifs. Always have that conversation, what if, and developing a plan beforehand, opposed to having to jump into sort of crisis management mode. Next slide. And so next we're going to go into a group activity, and I want you to think about a success that you've had with one of your programs and also share a particular challenge. And you can define success however you want to define it, and you can define challenge however you want to define it. And so, Eric, we're ready to jump right into the next group. Thank you.
Rooms are back open. Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll jump right in. Do we have anyone who want to share out with the group? So a success and a challenge. And you can either come off mute and talk, or you can use the raise your hand feature. Or I'm a professor, and we can do the old school voluntold method also, so. So Natalie, I see your face on my screen. Would you mind sharing with us?
Sure. I
Hi.
think
Oh, there's two Natalies.
Oh, well, we'll take both.
Oh,
So
sorry.
thank you. We will take Natalie, is it Vibe House?
Weeble House.
Weeble House? Oh, some use, okay. And then we have another Natalie A. We'll take you both. So
Okay.
go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
We
We'll go-
mostly just
Oh
talked
yeah,
about
you go.
challenges. So I'll share a challenge, and then if you have a success, then we'll get both. But the challenge that I shared in our group was staff development, being a big part of my role, and I kind of work with several different programs, and so kind of being able to plan ahead so that you can have the leadership style that you want to have and develop staff, but then also retain those staff once you've kind of developed them and trained them, and kind of gotten your team where you want them to be, so you're not kind of constantly in this cycle of rebuilding from just the staff development side of things. So that was the challenge that I shared.
All right, thank you. And Natalie A.
Yes. So in our breakout room, we were talking, me and my colleague were both in the same room. And so we were talking about how a success for us, specifically with the vaccine equity program, was that we had a lot of successful health fairs last year in 2023. And we just put a lot of work, like staff time and efforts into those health fairs. And we were constantly on the go. And so that was one of our big successes, but a challenge that came from that was towards the end of the year, we started to recognize that our team was kind of really burnt out. And so we were kind of taking a step back this year and trying to figure out ways to address that. So we're taking some, time for self-care and also exploring working from home options as well. So those are success and challenges.
All right, thank you both for sharing. We can go back to the slides. Let me. Okay, next slide. One more. Okay, inspiring a team in tough times. Here we want to think about how to motivate your team, in particular through extended crisis. So 3 areas we want to talk about. One is around relatedness, competence, and autonomy. So the first, relatedness, is when you are, as a leader, particularly focusing on your employees and that they feel that they are cared for and that you foster a sense of belonging. Some ways that you can think about doing this is listening to your employees' perspective, make them know that they've been heard and that they've been valued. When problems arise, make sure that you give them full feedback and you are really making sure that everyone's involved. Don't let good work go unacknowledged. Always congratulate your team. Acknowledge and validate your employees' emotions as well as their reactions. Try to reduce the team size, and also think about how to communicate that you care about the employees' well-being, not just about their productivity. Next slide. Competences is when a leader in particular is thinking about effective and experience and growth on the team. A couple of ways of doing that is holding employees accountable for achievable goals, making sure that that's helping improve performance. Motivational science really suggests that trust is important around this area and that trust begets trust. Involve your employees in decisions where their input could be valuable. asks for suggestions to optimize ongoing processes, asks an employee to think about with their colleagues what they're working on and really to be able to share with them and see if they can particular strategy. Try to set up check-ins and regular discussion times to talk about progress on individual goals and ways of creating strategies to meet those particular goals. The next one is around autonomy. So effective leaders typically are known for fostering internal motivation by empowering employees' senses, and that they have a sense that the authors of their own action, that they have the power to make their own choices, that their work is really aligned with their values, their goals. And so it's more internal, what they're sort of thinking about, how they do their work and why they show up. And so these particular leaders think about encouragement. And so really asking, what part of the project can you see yourself leading? Let them choose it. They may have other ideas. I do this with my team all the time, give them sort of choices and have them sort of explain to me why. Because I think I know what they like or their areas of expertise. They may have learned some new skills that they want to try out. They may have had new skills that they haven't been able to use in the organization with the projects that we've had. So I typically like to ask them, what part of this particular project do you think you want to lead and why? Also, motivation is very big. You can sort of ask or state to them, I know it's a tight deadline, but having your skills on this team will be so helpful to our client. So really letting them know it's not just you pushing the button, we need it done by 5 o'clock. There's a reason, and tell them what that reason is. And sometimes you have a client that needs a product. And also transparency, being transparent by providing rationales behind demands. You don't have to explain to them why every decision is made, but you can't be transparent. I had to make this decision. I had some information. This is what we need to do moving forward. Just don't tell people to do it because you say do it. Transparency is okay. Next slide. And so going to jump right in. We want to get to another group activity. I want you to share a story of how you had to inspire your team. And so we would jump right in and just think about any story where you had to inspire your particular team.
Welcome back, everybody.
All right, thank you. So we'll jump right in to the next session because we have a few more activities we want to go through. So we can go back to the slides.
Is Luis
Can
back
you-
yet? I think that we were missing one room.
Yes, we're back.
Okay. We can go to the next slide, the managing diverse team.
One sec. So it closes each time we
Oh,
go in
no
breakout.
Okay. So I'm going to jump right into it because we have 2 or 3 more we want to go through. So managing the diverse team inclusively. So there's 7 steps to really unlocking the power of diversity. Just going to go through this really quickly. 1, gain self-awareness and examine your own bias. Be aware that diversity is not always what you see. Consider diversity to be a team asset. Hone your skills as an empathetic manager and make all employees feel understood. Seek out education in inclusive management practices, provide employees with leadership development opportunities, and become an active listener and seek out feedback. So next slide, well, no, that slide. Next group activity, I want you to share a strategy for managing team members with different opinions and work styles. Have you had any challenges managing diverse groups? And so we can jump right into and give about 4 or 5 minutes on this one.
Just waiting for one more room to come back, including Dr. Ra. I believe is back now. I think you're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, it can.
Okay, good. So a few more minutes, we'll jump right in. Project management communication strategies. Just a few tips. Be clear. Check in regularly. Get help from the appropriate technology tools. Communicate with purpose. Listen actively. Be transparent. Invite communication through multiple channels. Encourage one-on-one or one-to-one communication. Recognize that being right may be wrong, and being sincere. Just a couple of strategies. Just want to talk about one when we talk about being clear, making sure that you're promoting clear communication. Draft an agenda for every meeting, making sure that you're sending it out for all team members to have a chance to look at and think about what type of work that they need to think about for group collaboration. Communicate with a purpose. This is what is the purpose of this communication? Why are we actually sending out? What are we trying to tell people? With whom am I communicating, and what do I actually want them to achieve? With your check-ins, making sure that if you have stand-ups or huddles, it allows you an opportunity to help communicate the significant tasks for the day. And it also aligns the team for tasks that they depend on each other for. Listen actively, once again, create an open space and be a good listener, and get help from the appropriate technology tools. So once again, leveraging tools such as Zoom, Slack, Skype, any of these technology tools, you can just do it old school, jump on a phone call, video, just to make sure that you are using technology as good as possible. Next one. So once again, being transparent, encouraging one-to-one communication. So this one in particular, meetings are an excellent way to really connect with your team. There's nothing like having that direct conversation, one person to talk about any of the particular areas of growth, areas of success, any concerns that either group have. One-on-ones so always helps. Making sure that you're sincere, and also recognizing, once again, this last one, that being right may be wrong. So think about your need to be right can also be a communication barrier. Thinking about when we talk about those leadership styles, if you're so autocratic, you want your team to feel like that they belong and that they're part of a team. And that also includes in the way you communicate with them. So thinking about what's going to be successful to the team, and that may not be your first inclination, the first idea you came up with for a project. And so just being so hung up on, I have to be right, may actually be detrimental to the project itself. Next slide. So we're going to go right into another group activity. And this one is I want you to share with the group one strength in one area of development around your communication styles or strategies. Okay. Eric, just let me know when everybody's back. And Luis, you can
I
go
will.
to the next slide up. So we can jump right in.
Looks like we're missing
Luis.
room or two.
Okay.
I think we're missing Luis's room.
What happened?
I spotlighted you.
Oh, because I'm saying I thought it was something I did wrong. I'm thinking
No,
because I'm looking at my other computer too, clicking on it. Oh boy, what did I do?
no, that was my fault. I removed it.
You didn't see that look of panic on my face? What did I
I
do
didn't
wrong?
immediately press the X.
I'm trying to count slides in minutes. So
I think we're back on track.
okay.
I have looked ahead. Welcome back, everyone.
All right, thank you. And Luis, when you're ready, we can go to the next slide. Hold on. Okay, stand on track. So we're just going to go through a couple of these really quickly. So strategies for effective project management, tips on how to stay ahead of the game. So just a few quick tips. Create a detailed plan that outlines the desired outcomes and how it will be achieved. Identify any potential risk or issues that may arise during the course of the project and develop strategies to mitigate them if they do occur. We've talked about that before. Communication is key. This includes ensuring that all team members have access to current information about the project at all times. Last, regular meetings with stakeholders should also be held to ensure everyone is aware of decisions that are being made, around the particular project, and having access to the right tools and resources necessary for successful completion of the task at hand. Next, so just a couple of more, just high level, make sure that you're clarifying your project details before you get started, that you evaluate your project from multiple perspectives, that you choose the right people to be on the project team. You set milestones, and in particular achievable milestones to measure progress, and that you evaluate your process after completing the project. And so if you happen to get off track, because projects do sometimes get off track. So what should you do if things are not working well? 1, show leadership and stay calm. 2, avoid the temptation to act immediately based on fears. Alert project sponsors and stakeholders. Review all possible courses of action. Review budget and contingencies. Implement, still implement. Do not just stop everything. And follow up. And so for this last one, Eric, instead of going into breakout groups, we can just do it as a large group. And if we have anyone who want to share an example of when a project got off track and how you were able to get it back on track. So we can have at least 1 or 2 individuals who want to share on that, that will make sure we stay in time frame. So I've never met Shelby. So Shelby, do you mind responding to the question? And next I'm going to ask if we can have Victoria, who could possibly respond. And if you can't for some reason, you can just put in the chat and say you're not able to jump on. But if we can have Shelby and Victoria. We attempted to pack a lot into the 75-minute session and to finish on time. So Eric, I think we're there. I appreciate everyone for your openness and sharing with us. We hope that you found this helpful. And Eric, I guess I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you all so much for attending today. I'm launching a very quick poll, satisfaction poll. Just while I list, the next thing we have coming up is a session on, hold on, I'm just pulling it up, my apologies, on March 26th, next Tuesday, on COVID fatigue. And it's going to be a conversation among learning community members. I think we're This came up in our session actually, that I think a lot of people are feeling fatigued, a little bit of burnout. And so I put the registration link from our website in the chat, if you all would like to attend that. And then obviously, if you are, I believe most of you or many of you are registered for our next session in this project management series next week, same time, same place. But thank you all so much for sharing today. It really, I think, worked to everyone's benefit and had a really nice group learning here today. So thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ra.
All right, thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.